I'm coming to you with another episode of the Millennial Magician Archives. And today we are going to spend some time talking about love magic, love rituals, and love correspondences. So sit tight and hopefully you find this episode enlightening and enjoyable and you walk away with some tools to use to help enhance your love magic. First things first, as a healer, as a member of the clergy, and as someone who works with clients magically and in the therapy room, when it comes to talking about relationships, for me, it's automatically a signal that some deep healing needs to happen. I know that many people might not want to hear that. Many people might not find that to be in line with their spirit right now. That's fine, that's okay. It is what it is. However, based on my experience, based on my education, and based on the work that I've done with and for a bunch of people, I know for a fact that human beings heal in relationships to other people or in relationships with other people. So when it comes time to have a relationship, when it comes time to get yourself ready to be in a relationship, when someone indicates to me that they're thinking about relationship and relationship issues, I know that it's healing time. This doesn't mean that love magic can't happen. This doesn't mean that doing magic to attract a lover or to attract a partner doesn't happen. It means that now is the time to get the ball rolling on that healing. One of the things that I've also noticed in my work with and for other people is that there's a lot of social pressure that comes along with the idea of love. There's a lot of social pressure that comes along with being in a relationship with someone. There's a lot of social pressure when it comes to how one performs in a relationship. And all those things impact how we experience love and how we experience relations to others. So consider for a second, what is the purpose of a romantic relationship or a romantic partner in our lives in general? What's it for? What's the reason to have one? Can you, as an individual, do all the things that you would like to do with a partner for yourself or with yourself? Apply some critical thinking. Be creative. Can you do the things that you want to do with a partner? Can you do them by yourself? Can you do them with yourself? By and large, the answer is yes. You can go on a vacation by yourself. You can have a body pillow in your bed that's warm, and you can cuddle up with that. You can engage in masturbation and get yourself off sexually. You can use kind of tools and creative devices to help you do that in very exciting ways. You can work, make money, buy a house on your own. You can go out on dates by yourself. Taking it a step further, you can do all of those things with your close best friends if that's how your boundaries are set. You don't necessarily need a romantic partner to do any of the things that you want to do in your life. Now that hasn't always been the case. You know, by and large, historically speaking, it's been required to have a partner to do many things. The way our society is set up, it's remarkably patriarchal, and so women had to have a man in order to have a life at all. But right now in 2022, that's not the case. So what role does a romantic partner play in your life? That is a very abridged version of the conversation that I have with my clients in therapy and in spiritual forms of healing during Love Magick. That's an abridged version of a conversation that I have with people who are joining me in Circle for Manifesting Love. The next part of that conversation is also remarkably important to the manifestation process of love. And as we move forward, I want you to think about the idea that there are multiple different types of love, not just the erotic or the romantic. And the reason why I'm isolating erotic and romantic is because a lot of times when people come to me to cast spells or to work magic, or when they come to me in therapy to talk about relationships, very many times they're not talking to me about building they're not talking to me about building relationships with their siblings or with their parents. They're talking to me about building relationships with partners. Interestingly enough, a lot of times we do end up talking about relationships with family members, with siblings, with cousins, with grandparents, or what have you, as a part of the process, because that is very formative, right? The relationships that we have with our parents, the relationships that we have with our siblings, the relationships that we had with the people who grew up in the household with us, you know, as we develop, do impact our outlook on romantic relationships. So we do end up talking about that, and I do want to encourage anyone who's watching this video to also consider those relationships in your life as you manifest love and as you manifest relationships. However, there are multiple different kinds of love. The Greeks, for example, had 7 different words that exemplified love. One of them was eros, and that is the erotic, romantic love. That's passionate, that includes the sex. But they had 6 other words besides that that characterized different kinds of love. So they had philia, ludus, storge, philautia, pragma, agape, as other indicators of types of love that, you know, ranged from the love that we had from our parents, how we experience love between parent and child or between siblings. They had, the word that indicates love between best friends or close people that, we rely on, that we share our secrets with and we share our hopes and dreams with. Today we might call them our besties or our ride or die homies. They had the love that we feel for people who need us, or the love that we feel for people that we need because they fulfill some kind of role. The love that arises after someone resolves a problem that's been remarkably bothersome. There's a name for that. There's a name for the love that causes you to maintain a household with someone, making sure that, someone has enough food to eat, making sure that, someone has a roof over their head, in relationship to the self. And then there's, the universal love, the love that we believe our gods, our spirit guides, and our ancestors have for us, and ideally the type of love that we want to develop as we evolve spiritually. And so it's important to understand those differences. It's important to understand how those manifest. It's important to understand how we recognize those different things. So keep that in mind moving forward as well. So, 1, what purpose does a relationship serve in our life? 2, what kinds of love do we want to be manifesting? Do we want to manifest all of them in a single person or into a single relationship? Or do we want to manifest many relationships that have, many of these components? When we are looking to manifest love, are we looking to manifest a rich, full, and meaningful life that has love as a component to it? Or are we looking to manifest a sexual relationship that feels specific desires? I'm not here to judge. I'm going to talk about some of each. One of the things to think about is how you can recognize the difference between love and maybe what codependence looks like. So what is love versus what is codependence? What is love versus what is control or dominance? Because a lot of times, whether or not we use magic to manifest love or manifest a relationship, we can find ourselves in positions where these issues are at play, where codependency is a part of the narrative, where controllingness or domineering is a part of the dynamic that we're experiencing. And so learning to differentiate between what is love and freedom to love and what is, that inhibitory, contracting, controlling kind of experience that might not be love, might be lust with a controlling flair to it or a domineering flair to it. Again, not here to judge. There's a time and a place to experience all these things, under certain conditions. And hopefully, everyone finds a way to be free to experience everything they need on their path of a spiritual evolution. When it comes to manifesting anything at all, for a fact that I will always recommend going to your ancestors, going to your people, going to grandma, going to grandpa, going to auntie, going to uncle, going to any deceased cousins or siblings that you might have. These people are spirits in the other world who have your back for sure. They will help you understand what is beneficial to you. They will help you understand what is going to be harmful for you. And a lot of times our ancestors act as spiritual gatekeepers who have the final say about what comes into our life or how things manifest. So keeping it 100 with them, absolutely a great way to start any work whatsoever. Keeping that relationship strong and tight. Just remember, they know what it's like to be alive. They know what it's like to have a desire to want to be touched, want to be cuddled and be caressed. They know what it's like to want to have someone that you care about understand you and reflect that compassion and understanding, back towards you to help you feel whole and fulfilled. Right? They understand what it's like to struggle with self-esteem issues. They understand what it's like to have to recover from feelings of rejection. They understand what it's like to contend with issues related to lack or maybe not being good enough or any of these things that are a part of the human condition. So keeping it legit, keeping it real, keeping open, honest communication with your ancestors is absolutely a go-to. So erect that ancestor altar. Make those offerings weekly or monthly or daily or what have you. Get yourself a program going on where you are actively working with these spirits. Let them into your lives, your ancestors, and see what happens. Ask them for things and watch them deliver. Make them offerings of food that you eat. Make them offerings of coffee. Make them offerings of water. Make them offerings of incense and candles. Recite poems to them. Maybe tell them some of the stuff that you remember about them. For example, I remember my grandpa at every single holiday. Me and my cousins, we always had to get together in our best clothes, and he would take a picture with one of those damn Polaroid cameras. We would walk around. Was it a good picture? If it wasn't a good picture, we had to pose again. He also had these wafer cookies, and he would give us stacks of those wafer cookies for us to snack on because we were not necessarily allowed to eat breakfast before church or what have you. Just tell them stuff that you remember about them as a way of strengthening that relationship. Start there when you want to manifest everything. Start there, especially when you want to manifest love. Moving a step beyond that, you got your ancestors legit. Excellent. We can talk about building a love shrine. When it comes to building and participating with your love shrine or your love altar, for the place you go to manifest your love, I want to stress that it's very important for you to have fun with it and for you to let this project reflect who you are and what's important to you. Let it reflect who you are when it comes to the deities or the spirits that you choose to put on here. Let the stories of these deities reflect what you are hoping to attain or to bring into your life. Let the choices that you use for tablecloth reflect what it is that you want to be doing and what you want to be manifesting. Let your choice of stones, let your choice of oils, let your choice of herbs, let your choice of love songs or anything that you play and use and meditate to while you are at this shrine be reflective of who you are, what you enjoy, and what you want to manifest. The reason why I say that is because there are social pressures that are at play here. And if you are not the kind of person who is going to do the work to recognize if you are buckling to social pressure or if you're giving in where you don't need to be giving in at, then this altar could turn into something that's not you, but instead reflects what the outside world thinks you need to be standing for. Right? So your shrine, your altar, is representative of who you are and what you stand for, what you want. When it comes to deities, maybe you only want to work with one specific spirit, or maybe you want to work with a divine couple. That's an important thing to think about as you start to build your shrine. Now, these two spirits are not necessarily love gods or love goddesses, right? So Isis and Osiris, not classified necessarily as Venus spirits or spirits associated with love. However, the story of their relationship is pretty phenomenal, right? And she does for her hubby
in a way that's really mighty and very powerful. She literally goes to the ends of the earth for him. If that's something that you want into your relationship, maybe consider, that story as something that you might want to draw on for energy. His qualities as an ideal husband, or his qualities as a provider, as a good ruler, as someone who makes good choices, might be something that you want to, invoke for your ideal partner, or maybe that those are qualities that you have, and that's what you bring into the relationship. Um, is something that can be expressed in your altar in the form of your spirits. And so to this end, this part of the activity can help you recognize what's so good about you. What would make someone want to be in a relationship with you? Why would someone want to love you at all? Being able to name that, and being able to discuss what you bring to the table in terms of a relationship is going to be important for the success of this work. Being able to name what you want your partner to bring to the table is going to be important for this work. And then, of course, you can also choose to work with a spirit who is known for encouraging and blessing love in marriage, and long-term relationships or commitment. So this is Frigg. And that might be, a spirit that you want to put on your altar. Also, just a single statue of the Venus or of Aphrodite, or of Freya, might be something that you go with, with your love shrine. And also, depending on the relationship that you are going for, you might use a spirit who's known for granting blessings in brief, passionate encounters that don't necessarily go too far, but the time that you have, they're very passionate, they're very delicious, they're very intimate, and it feels really good while it's going on. So Urzuli Foida, 3 whole-ass husbands, rocks 3 wedding rings, and is known to grant those really intense but brief relationships. And is also known to really kind of favor the gay boys, or has a great relationship with gay men. Which also, that's something else to think about as well when it comes to your correspondences. If you're looking for a heteronormative relationship, if you're looking for a straight relationship, that might impact how you use your correspondences on here. This might impact your color choice, right? So you might not go with reds and pinks. You might instead want to go with blues and lavenders, if you are a gay man. You might want to go with some magentas, and some burgundies if you are a lesbian. If you are non-binary, you might want to draw on a different color scheme still, right? You might want to go for a candle that's half blue, half pink. You might want to go for a candle that has multi-tiers to it. You might want to make a candle that has lavender in it, that has pink in it, that has blue in it, that has red in it. Or you might want to experiment with mixing all those colors together, to see what happens. The opportunities are really endless. And unfortunately, because relationships have been cast historically in a very binary kind of way, we have to look to our non-binary, our gender non-conforming, and our trans individuals to help us understand what color schemes might look like to correspond with these kinds of identities. So listen to your trans witches, listen to your trans clergy members, listen to your trans practitioners when it comes to how to effectively do this work. Don't take on a client who's gender non-conforming, non-binary, or who is trans if you don't know how to do that. Send them to someone in the community who does know how to do that work. Send them to someone who is trans, or non-binary or so on and so forth, as a way of making sure you're doing the most ethical thing. Don't just make assumptions that you can, just do the standard old thing for, this community and have it work out and be the best, right? You have to put some real thought, some real intentions, and you want to make sure that the stuff on the altar represents them just like it would if you were building one for yourself. You want it to represent you, you put the stuff that's intrinsic to you on there. We want their altars to represent them, so we put stuff on there that is intrinsic to them. And if this means having conversations with people who are trans or non-binary, well, congratulations. Go ahead and do that. Call it continuing education. But yeah, so these are spirits. I know I digressed a little bit. The next thing that I want to talk about are stones. So, of course, the rose quartz gets a lot of play when it comes to being a love stone. And for good reason. It's pink, it's connected to the heart chakra, for real, for real. And it is talked about in various different places as being a love stone. And I think it's absolutely appropriate to have, rose quartz be a love stone and have that be some foundational kind of stuff. In addition to adding your magnets to it to attract love or adding your lodestones. Aside from rose quartz though, malachite is a stone that is associated with emotions, feelings, learning how to sort those out. So I recommend malachite as well. Moonstone is also related to emotions, to love and relationships. So I also recommend moonstones. So a general practice that you could do on a regular basis is you can meditate with your stone at your shrine, do your invocation to your spirit and your spirit guides, and you can positively affirm the qualities that you possess that you want to make sure your ideal partner recognizes. My ideal partner recognizes my kindness. I demonstrate my kindness in a way that is recognizable to others. I acknowledge my care for the people around me and my care for the community. And this is something that attracts my ideal lover or my ideal partner or my ideal relationship to me. Herbs. Vervain is considered a love herb, and it is linked to the planet of Venus and the element of Earth. And one of the reasons why I do recommend vervain is because in addition to its love component, it also has a healing component. And as I said before, when it's time to think about love and relationships, it's time to think about healing. This one also has protective properties and purification properties. So if you want a love that protects you, if you want a love that's pure, then vervain totally a thing. For my queers out there, lavender. Lavender would be a go-to instead of like maybe the traditional rose that is in a lot of love spells that are geared towards straight people. Lavender, absolutely. Lilies, beautiful flowers, smells great. You can use those for queer relationships as well. Even though there are some other correspondences that go with lilies, you can, consider, how those might blend and mix for your purpose. But as someone who's queer, who's different, who might appear to be a little bit, not heteronormative, think about a lily. Moving forward, incorporating vervain onto a burning charcoal disc while you do your recitation of a love poem. You can use that to kind of charge your space, charge your shrine, and set the stage for your meditation. So day one, you go to your love shrine, your love altar, you invoke your spirit, you cleanse and consecrate your stone, and you sit down and you do your meditation, you do your affirmations. Next day, you go to your love shrine and you sprinkle some verbing onto the charcoal disc. You recite a love poem. Then you sit down and you do your affirmations with your rose quartz. Third day, you bring a pink candle, or you bring a powder blue candle, or you bring a lavender colored candle, or you bring a yellow candle for healing. You bring that and you cleanse and consecrate and you bless this and you put it on your altar. You light your candle, then you light your charcoal and you put your vervain on there and you burn that a little bit. Then you read your love poem, then you sit and you do your meditation with your rose quartz. Then boom, now you are starting to layer on your practice, you're starting to build energy at your shrine, and you're starting to impact your aura in a way that is starting to help you attract the energy that you want in your life, that loving energy, that relationship energy. Of course, tarot, super duper duper helpful tool in this case. You can isolate the lover's card, of course. And you can put this up here on your altar. And that can be something that you do to continue to layer on that magic. You say your prayers there and you know, put the lover's card on your altar and you announce to the spirits, I'm ready for a lover. Additionally, if you are not the kind of person who wants just one lover, you can add the Three of Cups. If you are looking for a polyamorous relationship, if you're looking for an open relationship, you can do that. The Three of Cups. To differentiate between whether or not you want a lover that you are moving into marriage with, or if you want a lover that you want to start to get to know, if you want a lover or a partner who might be a friend with benefits, who's not as extreme as like a major arcana lover, you might go ahead with the Two of Cups. If you want a partner who is, you know, emotionally supportive, you might take your lover's card and you might cross it with the King of Cups if you're looking for a male-bodied partner. If you're looking for a female-bodied partner, maybe you cross it with the Queen of Cups. Who's emotionally supportive and who has, you know, the room to fill your cup, or who will let you fill their cup. When it comes to types of relationships though, if you just want a fling, something that maybe moves a little bit faster, something that is not super duper emotionally taxing, I say go with the Knights. If you want an emotionally fulfilling but brief relationship, or a friends with benefits, the Knight of Cups. If you want a relationship with maybe someone who's a person of color, I've been taught that that's the Suit of Pentacles. Even in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, I was taught that the pentacles are not just the money suit, but the people who come up represent people of color, people with melanated skin. Could be a black person, could be an African black, could be North American black, could be South American black, could also be Arabic kind of melanated, but these are people of color. And so if you want a quick relationship that maybe is a friends of benefits and y'all go on trips together, or y'all are going out with and having some really delicious meals at some nice restaurants, maybe you want to take the Lover's card and cross that with the Knight of Pentacles. If the Lover's card is a little bit too much, and you don't want it to ever feel like or sound like you're moving in a serious direction, you take the Two of Cups and you cross the Knight of Pentacles with that. So as a way of differentiating between, like, yeah, I'm looking for my forever person, or I'm looking for, my right now person. You could, use the Lovers and the Two of Cups that way, and then, cross the Court cards to represent different kinds of people. Again, not here to judge, just here to be supportive and help people get what they want and what they need. If you want a short-term relationship with a sugar daddy, maybe the King of Pentacles, sugar mama, Queen of Pentacles. Again, the quick fling that has the trips, and by quick fling, I mean 6 months to a year is, the amount of energy that you're putting into this thing. So the quick fling that has maybe some vacations, that has some trips, that has some restaurants, y'all going out, Knight of Pentacles. If you want someone who is maybe honest with you, and keeps it real, and tells you right up front, hey, this is just going to be a brief relationship, I'm not looking for anything super duper serious, but I am looking to have a good time, and you move very quickly from the getting to know each other phase to like the sexual phase or what have you. Maybe you want that Knight of Swords. And you can also think about swords as a type of attraction to intellect. So if you are attracted to the Queen of Swords, like she has the reputation of like telling you like it is, being very honest, court with words, not mixing words, not mincing words too much. If you are attracted to that kind of quality, maybe you find it funny, maybe you find it endearing, maybe you like not having to guess at what someone is thinking or feeling, and you want someone who's going to tell you, this is what I think, this is how I feel, this is how I roll. Then maybe you go with the Queen of Swords and the King of Swords. Maybe you like someone who is very active and very passionate. Then maybe you go with the Wands. Maybe if you are attracted to a certain kind of genitalia, you might consider the Wands as being like that fire, that rod kind of energy. Maybe you consider like the suit of Wands to be like that big dick energy, so to speak. You could use the Wands for that. Even, like letting go of the heteronormative kind of thinking. If you want a female-bodied person who has that big dick energy, who's just like the boss, you might want to go with the Queen of Wands. Manifest real quick, is supportive, has the support that she needs, doesn't necessarily need you for too much, if anything, and that's something that you find inspiring or that you like in your life. Queen of Wands. So just think about the suit of cups, the suit of wands, the suit of pentacles, the suit of swords, and the court cards as actually representing people in your life, or people that you want to attract into your life. as a way of incorporating that magic. And so, an example of a way to work a tarot spell in that kind of way is, let's say you are looking for, like you're ready for that marriage, you're ready for that spiritually ordained relationship. So major arcana card, the Lovers. And you want to have that relationship with someone who is emotionally secure. And you're looking for a queer relationship. Right, so it doesn't necessarily have to be that you're looking for a male-bodied person or a female-bodied person, but you're looking for someone who is some kind of queer themed. Page of Cups. So you go to your shrine, you put the Lovers down, you put the Page of Cups down, put your candle on top, you light it, you light your charcoal, you sprinkle on your vervain, you read your love poem, and you sit down with your meditation and you do your affirmations and you acknowledge, what you bring to the table as a great partner, as a great lover. You now level up your game. At this point, I want to bring up a shadow component of love. And it is represented in the Devil card. So as you can see, the Devil card looks remarkably similar to the Lover's card. And so these two cards are called Acolyte cards. But they look a lot similar. And so if there's a lesson to be learned about love, if there's healing to be had about love, one of the things that could end up happening if you're not very succinct, if you're not very specific, if you're not open to listening to what your spirits, your guides, and your ancestors have to say, if you're not open to reflection, you could risk repeating patterns that bring you the kind of love and relationships that you're not looking for, or the kind of love and relationships that are painful to you, that keep you chained in a place where you're not happy, or that keeps you feeling stuck. So when you're doing your readings for your love and your relationship, if you're doing a reading about a particular relationship or a particular partner, and the Devil card pops up, it's definitely an indication that you're in a cycle of pattern in which you are chained by choice to specific actions, behaviors, and outcomes. That you've got to be realistic about what's going on and be realistic about what has to happen in order for you to get from where you are to where you want to be. So keep that in mind. One of the other things to keep in mind is, the kind of ingredients and correspondences that you're using to get the love that you want, or to get the partners that you want. Historically speaking, women had to have a man in order to have a life. Boom. That's what it means that's what it means to be a part of a patriarchal society. At least within this context. Like, there are several other ways to understand patriarchy. But in order to have a life, women needed to have a man. And so sometimes what that meant was women had to force men magically, as one of the only tools that they had, to keep their promises or do what they say that they're going to do. And so that's why you have stories about certain kinds of love spells or manipulation spells or dominating spells or controlling spells. And that's also why I started this conversation with a discussion about what is it that you want a relationship for? What is it that you want a relationship to do? So if you're using, an ingredient like a controlling candle or a dominating candle, if you're putting that over your Lovers in your Page of Cups because you want to have that domination or you want to have that control, that's an indication to me that you've had experiences with powerlessness and you are trying to heal or get balance or recover from that by exercising power and control and dominance in your relationships. That's where this comes in at. And unfortunately, that happens. People grow up in families where their relationships with their parents or their siblings are extremely domineering, but there's not that much freedom of self-expression or freedom to love. And so the idea of love kind of gets changed or warped or perverted in that kind of way. Today in 2022, no one needs a man to make it in the world. We are all capable to the degree that we are able, right? So not trying to be ableist here, but we are all capable to the degree that we are able to make a way for ourselves and make decisions for ourselves. And we are all entitled to a sense of agency, meaning we can move in ways that we want to be moving. So it's important to do some shadow work and do some reading about, and do a reading, whatever your favorite form of divination is. And really take a look at what the ingredients that you are using. If you're using dominating ingredients, if you are using your candles and oils to attract or trap a specific person, that's an indication of what kind of healing still needs to happen. In addition to this candle right here, which can be left on, you can, it'll take several hours for this to burn, so you can put it out, restart it again as a part of an ongoing program, an ongoing working, or an ongoing devotional to increasing that love energy in your life. So you can leave that. You can also add some other kinds of candles. So this candle right here is called a hoodoo candle, and it's called Adam and Steve. And I like that because it's showing the gay folks some love, right? So a lot of times gay people, gay men, lesbian women, queer people in general, have been taunted with the phrase, God said Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve. Whatever. No one is here to argue Leviticus. No one is here talking about Genesis. We're fucking witches. Right? We believe a lot of different things. And, maybe the law of Yahweh is not necessarily the most uplifting. It's not necessarily the most empowering for all of us. And we're not about to live by that law. And plus, our spirits and our nature calls us to love in authentic ways that are authentic to ourselves. So that might mean that Adam and Steve are going to try to have a go at it. So this is an example of a candle. It's not the traditional red or pink or rosy color. It is the lavender color that is associated with queerness. It's associated with being gay. So if you are gay and you want to do perhaps maybe a tarot love spell, maybe let's take me for an example. I will go ahead and be the King of Pentacles, and let's say that I want to have a relationship with the King of Cups. King of Cups. King of Cups, right? So that's me. This him, King of Cups. Adam and Steve want to have a go on it, burn that candle right on top of that. One of the other things I can do is I can smoke this candle in my vervain. I can smoke this in my lavender, put that on a charcoal disc and smoke the lavender and burn that in that kind of way. Read my love poem. Meditate on my attractiveness qualities. I am consistent, I am thoughtful, I am open-minded. These are the things that I want my partner to recognize in me. I want them to be emotionally supportive and open-minded. I want them to be someone who doesn't jump to conclusions. I want them to be someone who is fluid or versatile maybe, if that's something that I'm into. Versatile within the context of top, bottom, or verse, whatever. As an example of, a love spell that you can do at your love altar, your love shrine, incorporating the tarot. One of the other things that you can do is after a couple of days of reading your love poem at your altar, you can grab yourself some dove's blood ink and a feather quill or what have you, and you can write your love poem on some parchment paper. You can roll it up, you can tear it up or what have you, and you can put that on the charcoal disc with the lavender, with the vervain, with the rose. You can burn all that to ash, and afterwards, you can carve in the qualities that you possess on one side, or the wish that you have for yourself on one side. Turn the candle, that side's for your partner. And you just take your thumb, put it in the ash, and just, rub it up and down the candle. Then burn the candle on your tarot cards, and you have now added another layer to the work. Incense. Again, you can use come to me incense. This one is specifically formulated for love, and you can, add your lavender, you can add your vervain, you can add your rose, and you can add this come to me incense onto your charcoal. You can burn your love poem that has been written in dove's blood ink, and you can then put this on your candle. Oils. I'm a huge fan of oils, of course. And you can use these in a bunch of different ways. You can wear your lavender oil. You can wear your rose oil. You can wear your Arabian Nights oil. You wear these out if you're going out, to the club, if you're going out on a date. If you and your besties are just going out to have a great time and you want to make that an opportunity where you openly acknowledge that love that you are looking for can come to you, or the relationship or the experience that you're looking for can come to you. You can, bless these, charge these on your altar, and you can wear them. Oils can also be used to anoint candles. So back to this candle spell. You have your charcoal disc, you've burned your love poem on it, you've burned your lavender on there, your vervain, your rose, your ylang ylang maybe, all on there, and it's all on an ash inside your burner. You can, carve into your candle, of course, and you anoint the candle with the oil, and then you put the ash on there and you kind of rub that into the groove so that the ash fills in the groove that you've carved out. Do that on a purple candle, you might not be able to see the writing as well, but if you do that on a white candle, if you do it on a pink candle, if you do it on a red candle, the ash now looks like an ink that has been used to write on the candle with, but really, the ash, the oil, and all that is just filled in, what you've carved out. And so now you can actually see what you wrote on the candle. So Arabian Nights, very sexual oil. Tea rose, love, can also be sexual and very intimate. And then lavender, also very queer. If you are in the know, you can do come to me boy oil, come to me girl oil. Lavender love drops is a recipe that you can use if you are gay. These candles right here, these are pretty big candles. They're larger than your standard chimes, but these can also be incorporated into love spells. One for you, one for your partner. You can write on them, you can anoint them, you can carve into them, you can stick pins into them as you see fit. You can talk to one as if you were talking to a partner and charge it that way. And one of the things that you can do is you can start these on your love shrine or your love altar. One representing you, one representing your prospective partner. Or if you are in a relationship with someone and y'all feel so inclined, you can do love magic and relationship magic with each other, right? So this doesn't have to be solo. You can be standing right here, your partner can be standing right there. You can take your partner's candle and talk to it like you're talking to your partner. Say lots of lovely and beautiful things to it. They can say lots of lovely and beautiful things to the candle that represent you. And then y'all can move your candles towards each other. If you don't have a partner, talk to it like you're talking to the person that will eventually be your partner. Then start to move them closer. You can also incorporate some knot magic and move them closer. And as you move them closer, you tie a knot. And then eventually, these will not be burnt down by the time you get them close together. So once they're together and touching, you take the cord that you've been working between the two of you, or you take the cord that you've been working as a component of the spell, and you bind that together. And then you let those candles burn down as a way of completing your spell. So that's it for now. Hopefully you found any of this to be useful. And until next time, blessed be, folks.